Okay guys, let's do this. Right, so welcome to your first lesson. Now, I'm not really into writing ebooks generally. I know you got some reports off of me before, but I'm the kind of guy I like to talk face to face with people, really. The nearest thing to that is video. So you're going to find a lot of the time the way I train you and teach you is going to be via video, just because that's the way I like to do things. My best advice to you is to decide for yourself how you want to do things. You can choose all kinds of ways and just stick to a system that works best for you. Now, I would suggest that you play with different media. Don't just stick to one completely, but try and see what works for you best. Don't be when you're trying to build this business, right? If you have the idea of delivering some type of content and you don't do it because you can't face the idea of writing a report, do video. If video is what you enjoy and that's what you think you can get yourself to do on a regular basis, just do video instead. Yeah, whatever works for you. But that's one quick tip. Now, this system I'm about to teach you, there are people out there charging a lot of money, okay, for far less. Yeah, you're going to be getting a lot of this free just for being on my newsletter because I am awesome. Okay, right, being all proud now, but genuinely, I mean this, like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, and I'm really proud to be handing this kind of knowledge over, because when I was in your position, I was totally messed up, lost, yeah, fed up with people just sort of like manipulating me to get me to give them more money, so that when I was looking for ways to make money, not spend money, yeah, this is the thing. On the path to building a business, you're going to be spending money, okay? I ideally don't want you to have, I would like for you to spend the minimum amount of money possible to get to the stage of making money, okay? So I'm not going to ask for very much from you along the course of this newsletter, but I have to be practical too, bearing in mind I'm running a business here as well, you know, I've got to live. So there are going to be times where I'm going to recommend products to you that I don't expect you to buy, but they're going to benefit you and they're going to expand in a certain area that might be beneficial to you, and I'm only going to recommend them if I think that it would be worth your time, okay? I'm not the kind of guy who's going to hold things back just to tease you. I'm going to help you build a business to the best of my ability. I'm going to give you everything I can to help you to push forward, okay? But whilst being respectful to the industry and all that kind of thing as well, because bear in mind, you know, it's not an easy path, okay? We talked about this already. It's an easy path compared to, for some people, like trying to work your way up a business or a company that doesn't give a crap about you. It might be an easier path than you know, trying to build a brick and mortar business. So it's easy in that respect, but that doesn't mean it's easy, okay? It's not easy. There is work involved, there's time you're going to have to put in, and if you really want this, you're going to have to learn some new skills, you're going to have to put the time in, and I have faith in you. I mean, if you really care enough about this, I've been, in the surveys I've been going through, the comments I've been getting from people, I mean, this is all anonymous, but I've had people saying things like, you know, a lot of the time, that people have trouble sort of raising the capital. You know, there's people that want to give their child everything they ever wanted. You know, let's have a quick look. What else is it that people really want? Want extra money. The goals to like be accomplished, to be successful, to give family a perfect life. You know, I told you already in my report that one of the biggest things for me is helping my mum to pay for her house, so she never has to worry again, to pay off all my debts. I actually share a lot of these things with a lot of you guys that are on my list, and I'm achieving those goals, but it's not been an easy task. Like, I spent 3 years of struggle just trying to learn the stuff I'm about to give away to you, okay? I've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars. I'm not mucking you around here, okay? I know you've been bought over and over again by people, yeah? So I want you to know now that I'm stepping up here, and if you listen to me, there's every possibility that you can start to move towards this dream, but it ain't going to be, it's not just going to be a straight line. It's not going to be, you're here, and this is your goal, and you're just like, boom, done! Just because I have a course here that's like taken a lot of the a lot of the things that, a lot of the guesswork out of it for you. Doesn't mean you're just going to blast into it. You've got a lot to learn. Like, it's going to be probably more like this, okay? Even with my training, it's still going to be like... Oh, and then I lost it, and then back again, and I lost it, and then boom. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as people like to let on, okay? Just because they want you to buy every product they throw at you, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to take work, but I think that if you really want it enough, just like a lot of you guys are showing me here in the survey, a lot of you are driven by similar things to what I am. I know therefore that this is going to benefit you, okay? Because you've got to have a big enough why. You've got to want it enough. Otherwise, you won't get it done, okay? So let's have a look into this now. I was going to go into mindset first, because this is what I call part of the pre-biz preparation. Now, a lot of people think, mindset really? Oh man, I want to make money. I want to make money now. Like, okay, fair enough. I understand that you want to make money, and I don't want to sound condescending here. Look, I've been there. I've been exactly the same. Like, I know what it's like. When I first started out on this, I had lost my job. I put myself completely into it. I risked my relationship, everything I had, on a stupid dream of just thinking, I'm going to make money tomorrow. I believe every word they say. In a month, I'll be like rich. Yeah, I won't ever have to work again. It's not like that. It's not like that. Okay. So the sooner you get that through your head, the better, honestly. Stay in your job. If you haven't got a job now, get a job. Okay, because I'm telling you, it's not going to be, boom, done for most of you. Okay, so my best advice to you right now is if you haven't got a job, get a job. If you can't get a job, it's just one of those things, and, I'm going to do my best to help you, but if you haven't got the finances there to help you to sort of fund some of these things that you're going to need to get along the way to build your business, you're kind of stuck, really. It's God honest truth. Now, there are ways of getting around that, and I can teach you the absolute minimum of what you need to make this work for you on a shoestring budget, because I had to do that myself, so I know. But even then, there's going to be costs, guys, okay? You're going to have to fund this. It's not just going to be a walk in the park where you can just have it all for free and expect it to just land in your lap, okay? Hence why mindset is so important when you first start out. This is the bit that separates those who will succeed from those who won't. 9/10 of the battle is who you are, not what you do, because who you are is what you bring to the table as well. So you need to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and as a person to drive forward, to have everything that you need to be able to take consistent action, because action is what breeds results. Hard work, okay? Hard work done intelligently. I'm not talking about just working really hard and working stupid, because then you're just going to go around in circles like I did for 3 years, okay? I'm talking about working smart, but still working hard. There is no way around it, guys, okay? You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to take some of your spare time you would usually use to go to the cinema and drink and hang out with mates. You're going to have to take some of that time, and you're going to have to put it into this business for an hour a day, every day. You have to have some consistency in your life where you dedicate time to it over and over again. Otherwise, it just ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And don't expect some white horse to come along or some other marketer to come along and just give you a break. Okay, because I can tell you now that this is my opinion from experience. None of you, myself included, are entitled to anything in this world. Full stop. There's no entitlement. There's no, put your pride aside, because it's time to recognise that anything you want in this world, you're going to have to earn it. Okay, if you haven't got the money now, and you haven't got a way to leverage to make it happen, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to earn that right. And the only way you're going to earn that right is by offering value, by serving people around you. Okay, so let's look at the mindset a second. We're getting straight in here without me even opening up. So the first thing I want to hit you guys with is exactly the thing that most people never hear but need to hear. The reason why they never hear it is because most of the people teaching this stuff are acting like this, and they don't want you to know that, so they never even talk about it. They keep it hush hush, and they just keep selling you stupid products that will never ever help you, okay? And they keep giving you newsletter content that just gives you a little taste of that, a little taste of it, so that you'll go in and buy another bunch of crap that won't help you, okay? So I want you to think like a business person, not a quick fix scammer. A quick fix scammer, that is the majority of people in this industry. And I'm really passionate about this, as you can tell, because I got so nailed by some of these people because I was naive and just believed it. Okay, do not add to this pain and suffering that's going on in the internet marketing training world. Okay, don't be another scammer, especially if you're on my newsletter. If you want to be that kind of guy, get the hell out of here. I don't want you on my newsletter. Okay, that's how passionate I am. I don't want you as a customer if you're going to be the kind of person that goes around hurting people just for your own gain. Okay, that's how I feel. You should be looking to serve people the best way you can. You might not even really be the right person for this field, for teaching in business field, right? Maybe you are. Like, the main thing is you just need to get in touch with what you can do to serve. Okay, but I want to warn you, certain niches are really hard to get customers in. Like, I tried getting into meditation niche, so hard to sell products in the meditation niche. Okay, but I'll be getting into later a little bit about, like, don't let that hold you back too much, because there are other ways to get around this. I would say to you, one of the easiest, well, the 3 easiest niches to kind of get started in are always linked with the main things that human beings crave most. Okay, it's 3 areas. One is finances, having plenty of money, being able to be financially secure. Okay, we all have a strong desire for that. 2, health. Okay, 3, I'm going to be talking more about this later, but I'm just giving you a brief glimpse. Okay, health, fitness, feeling great. Okay, health and energy, I focus on that myself very strongly. 3, relationships, sex. It's another thing people just seem to care a lot about. Okay, for me personally, I care a lot about spirituality as well. For me, that is a big deal, and it's a big part of my life. But when you're looking at the wider populace, it's not necessarily a strong thing in the world at the moment. So it's up to you what field you want to go into. But if you want to make your life easier initially, you've got to be you've got to get yourself into perhaps a niche initially that will help you to have the ability to have more resources available to you. Now, if you haven't read the report I gave you that was based on my mentors training, read it now, because there's a section in there that explains why he thinks that the niche of internet marketing is a good one to go into initially. Okay, and he has great points about that. I'm not going to go into that here because I already gave you that. If you haven't read it, well, read it, because that's why I gave it to you, so that it would benefit you. If you haven't read it, that's not my fault, and I'm not going to go over that content again here. Okay, right, so don't be a quick fix scammer. Why? Because you ain't going to have a long-term business if you do that. Okay, if you want to blow your money on traffic and piss off all of your customers, and then they never come back and never listen to anything you say ever again, and you just want to carry on down that road and keep burning up all your customers and trying to just make money out of them and churn and burn, be my guest. There's only so many people that you can see, okay, that you can get involved with before your reputation starts to precede you. Okay, I'll just warn you, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So I believe, start as you mean to go on. Okay, yeah, make it easy for yourself as you can. Like, don't make it ridiculously difficult, so difficult that you can't get started, and I'll show you ways around that. But what I'm saying is, like, start as you mean to go on. Think of it like a business owner. Like, what value can I create? How can I help people? What can I give people that's going to change their lives? It's going to radically benefit them in such a way that they trust me, they want to buy from me because they know they can trust me. Okay, trust is such a big deal. Okay, it's the biggest deal of all. You've got to live up to your promises. Okay, you've got to over deliver on your promises. That is the key. We all want a good deal, you know, like, nobody wants to be sold to, but everyone likes buying. Okay, no one has a problem with buying stuff, but they don't want to be sold. And what I mean by that is we don't want to be manipulated into making a decision with buying. We like to make an educated decision about what we buy, don't we? Yeah. So we can all share in that point of view. So why treat your business any differently? If you're going to build an email marketing business where you're going to connect with your customers via email and you're going to point them to things, expect to have to step up and actually make a difference in their lives. It's not just going to happen by you clicking a little button and sitting back and going, here's my money. Wow, yeah, I'm just going to go and watch F1 like racing, and oh god, I'm just going to be rich. It's not like that. Like, oh, you know, I'll just slap out a few emails, like tell people that they're going to get XYZ and then don't really care whether they're going to get a result. What do you think is going to happen when these people don't get any results? Who are they going to blame? You. Okay. Now, I know that's not entirely true, because a lot of the time it's our own personal responsibility. But if you're making promises and saying, oh, you can do X, Y, Z, and then the person isn't getting even close to those results or any kind of sense of moving forward, I mean, you don't even have to give people results sometimes. You just need to give them something real that they know is tangible, that if they actually used it, they know it would work. Yeah. And like, put yourself on the line. Like, you can see me now. I'm here with you. I'm being myself, so that you can see who I am, so that you can connect with me, and also so that you can sort of get to know who I am, so you can relate to me. Yeah, because this internet world can be a little bit impersonal at times, you know. So, if you really want to connect with your audience, if you want your audience, you want to create a love or hate scenario. Like, you don't want people just liking you. You want to be strong about this. Okay, step up. So, and this is where I get into think narrow and targeted. Okay, don't be when you get into the niche that you're going to go into. Okay, don't try and please everybody. Think about who are your target core customers that will relate to you. It's not just about niches. Everyone thinks, oh, you know, what niche do I go into? Well, you can go into like a sub niche to like minimize the amount of people that you're serving, like maybe list building or how to build a website, whatever. I mean, it can be limiting essentially, so just be careful with that as well. But the point is, if you specialize in an area, people will trust that you know more about what you're doing. If you genuinely specialize in it, that is, yeah. But what's more important than that as well is, who are you? Who are you as a person? What can you give? And your character, the kind of person that you are, is going to have an impact in your marketing. If you're the kind of person who's a bit quirky, a little bit intense, a bit nuts like I am, okay, like a really intense, I love reading, I love like learning, I'm driven, I care about people, deeply care about people, about making a difference. You know, I love music, I'm passionate, I'm you know, I'm that kind of guy. I get into personal development, spirituality, all that kind of stuff. I'm a big ball of like, I'm like a geek really in anything I get into. That's the kind of guy I am. So my personality, I don't expect everybody to like me. Yeah? Some of you guys who are watching this video are going to be like, this guy's nuts, I'm not interested in talking to him or ever relating to him again. There's got to be some other guy out there that's I find more interesting, that teaches me in a way I understand. And that's cool. Like, there's different teachers for different people. That's why I think that pretty much anybody can build a business if they put themselves on the line. So you need to be targeted, not just about your niche, but about who am I as a person and who will relate to me as a person. And you need to start thinking about being online as about building relationships with people. You don't expect everybody to like you when you go out in a club or when you hang out in certain social settings. Or if you do, to be honest, you're going to be very upset and unhappy because it ain't going to happen. Alright, it's just the way it is. Anyone out there who's been through that knows not everybody's always going to like you, and it's cool, because you're better off not being liked by some, but being yourself and being loved by some when it comes to marketing. Okay, so important. So think narrow and targeted. This is some of the mindset elements you really need to get into your head, okay, to be able to make sense of this business thing that you're going to be presented with. It's going to matter so much to you. Start thinking about some of the stories that you can tell people about yourself that help them to connect with you as a person. Start thinking about some of your traits and like knowing who you are as a person, and also what you can deliver. Your mindset as well. I'm going to shift your mindset a little bit here on this one. You don't have to know it all now. Okay. Some people think, well, what can I offer? I don't know anything. I have no experience. It's different for me. Of course, I have 3 years of hard work and training and like failing over and over and over again to draw from as an experience to help you to step forward. I know a lot of stuff that you probably don't. So what are you going to teach in the internet marketing field? Well, if you're one of those guys, you don't have much knowledge yet in the field that you want to go into, or whatever field it happens to be, you can report, you can get into interviews with people, and you have to make this part of your plan. You're going to have to start talking to people who are already established, or even if they're not, like at least know more than you do, enough so to be able to deliver to the people that you want to help. But bear in mind, it has to be exciting enough that they would actually open their emails. Like, if they want to make, if you turn around and say, oh yeah, learn how to build a squeeze page and blah 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 blah, that might not be necessarily appealing to the audience that you want to serve. It might be more like you have to be able to say, learn how to make $100 a day, but you don't know how. And now you're like, God, like no one's going to be interested in anything that I have to say. In which case, find someone who's made $100 a day, interview them, find out whatever information you can about them, and report it, and be honest about where you're at. Don't try and tell your list, oh, I'm already super rich, and like fake it. Just tell it like it is, like I have. I've told you exactly where I'm at. I've made $100 in a day, but I'm not a consistent $100 a day guy yet. But I'm being trained and mentored by a guy who's made millions, okay? And I'm showing you how to cut the corners off of this stupid, the hardcore journey that you've decided to take upon yourself. That you know, hardcore for me anyway. It could be easy for you comparably. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot to learn. It makes more of you than you can imagine. I love this as well. This is something that like Jim Rohn always said about, and Tony Robbins took this on so strongly. It was a big part of him. When he was being mentored by Jim Rohn said to him, I'm going to suggest that you take the goal of being a millionaire and make that a part of your main picture for your life. Not for the sake of becoming a millionaire, but for the sake of who it will make, what it will make of you as a person to achieve that goal. Okay? Now, granted, that's not specific enough to outline here, because you could be a greedy, horrible millionaire. But to be honest, a lot of people who have succeeded in being millionaires know how to care about people and provide value. Okay? Especially if they're consistent and they actually stay around, because people pick up on it a lot of the time if it's naff what they're getting, if they're not getting results. You don't build a reputation, you know, overnight. You build a reputation by consistently delivering results and benefit. Okay, so this is also what I'm saying here, is that you've got to think about, who am I? Like, am I stepping up? Do I sit around on Facebook all day and expect money to just pour out of the computer? Or am I actually doing the things that I need to be doing? And if I'm not, then I need to think about, how can I get myself to do those things? So, staying motivated is a big deal. Okay, now I can't go into all of this right now, because we've got, you know, we're at 22 minutes now of training in one video, and I know you guys have got your lives to go on with, and so I've got to keep these short and sweet, these lessons. Okay, I'm going to outline these 11 steps, and then what I'm going to say to you is, in the next session, I'm going to go into more detail about how to stay motivated, if that's what you want. Okay, reply back to me, tell me what you think of the training, and if you want this covered in detail, you know, I could maybe do a paid webinar, okay, where some of you guys can talk to me and ask me your questions. I can't do webinars for free, because it's time that I've got to spend, and it's money that I spend on the webinar software. Okay, so if I'm going to do webinars for you guys and you want that, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to run a webinar for you, so that you can talk to me in detail and get your questions answered. You know, and we'll talk about that. So, but let me break down these sections for you. So, number one, these are the things. And by the way, this list here, this is stuff I do. Okay, I've studied personal development now for nearly a decade. It's taken a lot of work to find out this stuff, and I'm offering it to you on a platter, really. So please listen to what I'm saying here, because this stuff works. Okay, it works, and I will explain a little bit about why it works as I go. But if you use it, if you actually make use of this stuff, I guarantee you'll start to see results. But you want to like test it stage by stage. Try one thing, see what results you get, add another thing in, and just you'll find you'll build up momentum. Okay, and the main thing is you need to build rituals where you use some of these things that I'm telling you about on a daily basis, not just once and then expect your life to change. Your life is the result of who you are as a person. It's like your daily habits. Your whole life becomes driven by the way that you treat your day. Okay, your day every day. If you do something one day, you probably do it every day. And it's like another thing that I think Brian Tracy said, I believe, might have been Brian Tracy. This is something I heard from as an interview that you'll get to see at one point from Chris Farrell. Chris Farrell's a legend, by the way. Let me interview him back along. He's got a fantastic membership site, which I'll tell you about another time. he said, I think it was Brian Tracy said, how you do one thing is how you do anything. Okay, so how you treat, you know, your family, like in a row, is how you would treat, you know, if you were careless about that and you didn't really have any compassion, that's how you kind of treat everything else in your life. So it's who you are as a person that you bring to the table. It's so important that you're aware of that, because who you are as a person is driven by multiple factors, like how you think and all this kind of stuff. But bear in mind, it's rituals that create who you are as a person. If you spend all day listening to audios that are full of brain crap that just makes you think like an idiot, yeah, because the thought processes are stupid, or let's say you watch TV programs that just fill you full of like really stupid thoughts, how the hell, it's like garbage in, garbage out. How in the hell do you think you're going to live any differently if you keep watching the same programs that make you think like an idiot? Yeah, that's what, it sounds harsh, but it's exactly how it is. Okay, you need to be willing to shift some of this stuff if you want to make the change happen. You're going to have to change your rituals. You're going to have to change who you listen to. You know, they do say like the amount of money you make is based on the 5 closest friends that you have around you. Why? Because influence has an impact. Okay, which I'll be getting into in a bit. So let's just take this stage by stage. Instead of me rabbling on and just being random about it, I just want to break this down nice and quickly. Number 1, big reasons to take action. Big reasons to take action. This is a work in process, guys. You're going to find the first ones that you get, they get you. But over time, you'll start to realise what really motivates me, what gets me out of bed, what makes me want to do this. Okay, so great example of this I had at one point. I saw in a video from Devon Brown, who's really cool. I'll draw this for you. Imagine you've got a... Oh, I don't want that one. I want the tool where I can draw freehand. There we go. Imagine you've got a building over here, right? And on this building is $50,000, okay? And here is you. I can't lay claim to this. I don't even know where this analogy came from, but I really like it. Okay, so, and this gap here is, and there's like this ledge here that you can jump onto, and this gap is like bigger than what you would usually expect. Yeah, so usually be capable of jumping. Would you jump that gap, risking your life for the sake of $50,000? Maybe you would. Me personally, even though money matters to me, it doesn't matter to me as much as my life. The way I view it is, if I'm alive, I'm likely to be able to find a way to make that $50,000 and more if I really want to. I don't have to jump across a building and risk my life for the sake of that, and it's not a big enough deal to me. Okay, let's change this now, and let's imagine that on this building here is your child or a loved one in your family, and here, it's a horrible analogy when you think about it, is some dude or woman with a gun to your head, to the head of your child, okay, or someone in your family, and you're here, and this person's saying to you, you have to jump this ledge or I'm going to kill your kid. Okay, how do you feel now? Does it feel like something that is, and bear in mind, it's all about feeling, because bear in mind, feelings are what drive us. Okay, state, the state that we're in when we wake up in the morning, the state that we're in when we work, the state that we're in when we do anything is what has the largest impact on what we will do, because our actions are driven subconsciously, they're not driven consciously. So you can't think your way into certain behaviour if it doesn't go down and root down into feeling. Okay, feeling is what drives behaviour. State, your whole state of who you are, and there are a few components of state which Tony Robbins goes into. He's got a great analogy on that, where he talks about a triad, where he says the physiology, the way what you focus on, and the language that you use. Okay, so the language that you use internally, your internal dialogue, what you focus on, and how you use your body, all of those have an impact on your state. Okay, but right now we're saying here, so what we focus on was, originally we were focusing on the idea of money. Okay, now we're focused on a person's life that you really treasure. How does that affect you emotionally? Depending on the type of person you are, likelihood is you would jump that building in a heartbeat, risk your own life if you if you have that love for that person, okay, because you'd be like, well, it's worth it because the risk that I'm taking, there's no other way that I'm going to be able to save this person's life. I've got no other choices. The risk I'm taking is worth risking my own life for the percentage of chance that I could save theirs. Yeah? So anyway, I've gone into that one in detail because it's a really important one. I want you to start thinking about that, and I can help you even further. I can tell you quickly, my example for me is I really care about making a difference in the world. It might sound cheesy, but it's true. What drives me more than anything else, when it comes down to it, what drives me more than anything else, I want to know that on my deathbed, yeah, when I'm looking back on my life, I want to know, I want to smile with satisfaction looking back on my life and think, you know what, I did something that meant something. I actually made a difference in the lives of people around me. I want to lie on my bed and think, I don't care if I die now because I know that I made a difference. I know that I served people. That matters more to, probably is the most important reason why I do what I do. Okay? And you need to find that within yourself. Like, what is it that drives you? Why does it matter to you? So we're going to leave it at that for now. And that's just to give you an experience of the kind of things I can teach you. Okay? So next thing is number 2, a process you've linked, that you've linked massive pleasure to that brings you closer to your goals. So don't just this is something that nobody talks about, okay? I understand it deeply, yeah. The state that you get into affects the way you treat your work, okay? And we talked earlier about don't create reports if you get bored, do videos, whatever works for you. Well, I just want you to know, you need a process that you can enjoy, so try and make the process as enjoyable as possible. Do what you do best and outsource the rest if you can financially afford to do so. If you can't, you just need to try and find ways to enjoy doing the things that you don't enjoy. Okay, that might mean putting music on in the background. That might mean seeing yourself over and over again doing the thing that you want to do, but attaching pleasure to it. See yourself being joyful in the process of doing it. Whatever it takes, you need to find a way to get yourself in the state of enjoyment whilst you're doing the things that take you closer to the life of your dreams, and build rituals in that are enjoyable. Okay, that's how I got myself to work out regularly. Is I got myself to enjoy the process of working out, so that it became addictive to me. Okay, you need a deeply compelling vision, your vision of what it is that you're going to achieve. Make it something that excites you, okay, that drives you in that respect. Oh wow, what is it that you really want? Okay, why is it, in that respect, why is it important to you? What is it you want to achieve? What is your compelling vision of what you'd ultimately like to achieve? Okay, accountability and mentoring, big one for me. I got a mentor recently because I needed to feel like I could be certain that what I was learning would actually work. Okay, I found that I was drifting from product to product for a long time, and for me, I knew the mentoring would be worth it just to help me focus, okay, if nothing else. Because then I was accountable to my mentor, and I was like, I've spent all this money on mentoring, I have to do it. I can't just spend that money and not follow his instructions, okay? So you'll find a lot of the time when you haven't invested money in something, you're not as invested in it, okay? So this training you're getting now, some of you aren't even going to appreciate what I'm doing for you here, which is just going to, I know it blows my mind, but it's just the way it is, okay? But some of you will see what's happening here, you'll know, you can trust me because I'm actually delivering for you, okay? And then I know that a lot of you, as a result of that, will probably buy something from me, and that's cool. If you don't, to be honest, I don't care. I'm going to help you anyway, because that's what I'm here for, because I want to make a difference, okay? But my point is this, is that if you really want to get results, generally speaking, you need to try and be accountable to someone. If you can, you need to try and get yourself a peer group of people that push you forward, okay? Even if you can't afford mentoring, try and find people around you that you can build relationships like that with, if possible. Okay, so 5, I love this. Use of music to inspiring audio to change my state. Every morning I wake up, I put music in my ears that it's epic, yeah, and I visualize myself achieving things over and over again. I change my state myself before I begin to feel motivated, to feel certain, to feel strong about what it is I want to achieve, okay? I also use audios, listen to great teachers, and I put them on my smartphone and I just play them in my ears all day long, practically. So if I've got spare time, I'll meditate, or I'll stick on some audio, or I'll read. Okay, but I love reading, but I really love listening to audios the most. So I tend to have that just rolling in my ears when I'm walking about, and it means I can kind of like do it at the same time as doing other things. It's like there's no extra time involved in me being able to progress in my personal development knowledge and become a better person overall. Okay, because you need to build that knowledge. You're just going to have to. Okay, you have to build that knowledge up. And actually, the important thing about this is it's conditioning you to think in a new way. It's kind of like I said to you earlier about having new friends around you. Okay, if the person that you listen to most happens to be a millionaire because you're listening to audios from a millionaire, that's as good as having a friend that you talk to every day that's a millionaire. That's the way I see it. So keep listening to audios from people that think the way that you need to think, that are already living the life that you want to live, so that it will push you forward. Use visualization and physiology to change your state. Okay, I already talked about this. That's what I do. Okay, so I think it makes sense. Physiology is like how you use your body. See how I'm moving now. I'm moving with energy. It makes it more enjoyable for you to watch, but it's also like just me expressing that energy I have within myself. Okay, that's why also I'll go into this in a bit, like regular workouts to build up physical energy is important. Okay, but physiology is a big part of like how you are going to bring yourself to take action, be certain. Okay, you don't if you drop your head and you feel sluggish, like you're not going to feel very great, are you? If you just sit down like this and talk like this all the time, you don't exactly feel certain and strong, do you? If you sit up and feel a bit like, fill yourself up a little bit more, deepen your voice, relax, smile, you feel better. Like, it's a funny thing. I know it's not as simple as that. Like, if you're focused on something as well, and like you're thinking a certain way, sometimes it's hard to shift your body. But I'm telling you now, if you condition yourself by doing it regularly, it will become a new way that you relate to life. It has to be a consistent behaviour. It has to be something you plug in every single day, every day. Okay, pretty much, at least for a certain period of time until it starts to become natural. But once you start to make it natural, you'll become addicted to it anyway, and you won't want to stop doing it every day. Use a pen and paper to get clear on the next few steps. I think some people will get too busy, too much full of like trying to create perfect plans. I just use pen and paper simply so I can outline what it is I want to do during the day, so I can get a bit of clarity. I don't waste too much time on it these days. I did spend some time, I used to spend time in the evenings reviewing myself as well, and kind of going, okay, or once a week, going, okay, why have I been consistent with it? Has it not worked out? If it hasn't, what's actually holding me back? But don't get too lost in that, because you want to be taking time to be productive and actually take action on the specific things that are going to take your life forward. You just want to build those rituals, okay? So just use reflection to try and get yourself to maybe like know if the rituals are working or they're not, okay? And then think, okay, well, what can I do to change my rituals to make it possible for me to live that life I was after? Okay, mirror affirmations to build belief, certainty, faith and determination. Okay, I talk myself up in the mirror in the mornings, and I'll be like, well, that sounds cheesy, but I will compliment myself like a best friend, and I will talk myself up, and I'll be like, if there's anything you want to achieve, you can do it. And I believe that, okay? I bring it into myself. I feel that. I don't just say it, I feel it. And I say it with intensity, and I talk to myself in the mirror. I talk myself up, okay? It might seem a little bit crazy, and I don't, some of you are going to be like, this guy's nuts, and switch off now, and that's fair enough. Some of you, just take or leave what I have to say. You don't have to follow everything I say, but I'm telling you now, it works for me, and it's worked for a lot of people. You look around and through history and you'll find out a lot of big names, people who've succeeded, do things like mirror affirmations, okay? Talk themselves up, talk to themselves, okay? Talk yourself around. Sometimes you've got to be your own best friend, that best friend that no one else was going to be for you. Sometimes you've got to be your own dad, your own mum. You've got to talk yourself up. Sometimes you've got to nurture yourself. Be careful. Some people look in the mirror, they talk themselves down. They're like, you're such an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. Why do you always do this? And yet when someone says to them, oh, do mirror affirmations, like talk yourself up, and they're like, what? You're weird. It's like, well, why is that any different? If you're going to talk yourself down and make yourself feel crap, it'd be no wonder if you wouldn't be very productive or feel like naff about yourself. As within, so without. Garbage in, garbage out. Talk yourself into a better state, like love yourself more, and you'll have more love to give. You've got to fill yourself up before the cup can overflow, okay? All starts with like doing things like that, like building up that love for yourself. Treat yourself well, and you're more likely to treat others well. And if you have to have something to give to be able to make money. So I know it sounds a bit wacky, but if you don't love yourself, it's very hard to love others. If you don't love others, what have you really got to offer anybody that's worth value, ultimately? Because aren't you looking to, if you want to look to serve people, you need to be caring about people. You need to be caring about yourself. You've got to have something to offer. Okay, it's deep stuff, I know, but this is what matters. Okay, and this is why I started with this. Regular workouts build up physical energy. That's literally what I'm going to do after this video. I'm going straight to the gym to bust out some working out because it makes me feel great. Pump up my muscles. I feel fantastic. Another thing I do is I make sure my diet's in order. I don't eat enough food on an ongoing basis. I drink plenty of water. I make sure my vitamins and minerals are up. I make sure that my that I'm eating, if I know some people don't believe in pH balance and acid alkaline and that, but it seems to work for me. If I make sure, if I get too many acidic foods where I drink loads of, have an alcohol night, I'll usually alkalise the next day to sort of help balance that out a bit. But I'll also make sure I get my magnesium up and things like that, So you need to do a little bit, study this a little bit, and make sure that you are looking after your body, because how your body feels and how you feel as a person is going to come through in how you act and behave, because you need energy to build a business. It's not going to be easy, okay? You're going to need to sometimes sleep a little bit less. You're going to need to sometimes do it when you don't feel like it, and having the physical energy to do it will help, okay? Daily meditation for me is a big part of, linked in with building up physical energy again, but also with focus and with wisdom. Like when you're relaxed and aware, are you able to totally relax yourself and still pay attention? Because that's what meditation is really. You're able to focus more, and you're also able to be more wise in your decisions, which is so important. And also you have more presence, which comes through in your videos and the kind of person that you are, and it gives you the ability to relax. And trust me, like I say, building a business is not easy, so sometimes you need to be able to just de-stress completely and not have to spend loads of money to get to a spa to do that, So that's how I feel. I'm not saying you have to do meditation, but you do need a ritual that helps you to de-stress rapidly, that doesn't damage you, ideally. Because anything that damages you means that you're kind of like one step forward, two steps back. Ideally, you want it to be 100% beneficial, whatever it is you're doing. You want it to benefit you in as many ways as possible in minimum time with minimum cost. And meditation's free, and it feels fantastic if you do it right. Okay, I can actually teach meditation, so if some of you want to know about that sort of thing, let me know, contact me back, and if enough of you want to do it, I might do a training on it or something like that. We'll talk about that more. Okay, final stage here, an awesome diet. I actually got ahead of myself though. I forgot that I put that as the last 11, so I've already talked about this. No even point me going over that. It's not for me to explain the whole thing to you here in this training, but it's just that I want you to know that concept and understand that it's important, and then look to people who can help you. Let's say any one of these things that you need help in, you can contact me about, and I can't promise to do all of this stuff for, go into depth on all these things for free, because it takes a lot of work to put trainings together like this. But if you guys want to learn about a specific area, and there's enough of you that want to learn, and I can probably go into depth in some of these things and really help you get there a bit quicker, instead of you having to spend ages going through other people who just to make money out of you. Okay, I'm here for the long haul. I want to help you from the bottom of my heart. So anything I can do to help, anything I can do to teach you and help you along, I will do. Okay, that's it, guys. Nearly 45 minutes of training, longer than I expected, but an important section, so well worth every second. Okay, so that's mindset. The next lesson that we're going to go into will be all about biz preparation. As you can see here, it's a really fun little section. Okay, it's the kind of stuff nobody talks about because it's boring, it's not sexy, but it's so important. It's the stuff that Apple think about. It's the stuff that biggest names live and breathe. Why? Because it's like you don't build a house without some firm foundations. Pre-biz preparation, it's all about your foundations. It's all about understanding yourself as a person, where you stand, how you're going to help people, who your competition are, things like that. You need to understand this stuff if you're going to be strategic and be a business person about it, instead of just being an opportunity seeker, as Rich Sheffrin would say. you know, or like a scammer. Okay, and I know if any of you are still listening now, you're not scammers, you're not that kind of person, because I've already filtered that out earlier when I started ranting about it. Okay, so if you're with me now, I know that you're one of the good guys, okay, and I want to keep you that way. That's why I'm going to look after you, so that you know to do the same for everybody else that you ever serve. Alright, so we're going to wrap this up now. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been a real pleasure, and look forward to coming back to you with the next training. Okay, enjoy, rock and roll, take care, bye bye.